What's up, America? I tell you, it's Word on Wednesday, and the space is as optimistic as the moment. Man, on behalf of Pastor LJay and Dr. Keshia Brown, welcome to Word on Wednesday. It is always a blessing to be able to come and to share with you, and I can't say how excited I am about today's study. Just a little Word on Wednesday, just a little talk for America. Man, I'm telling you, we're still sharing in this awesome theme that Pastor and Dr. Keshia has ushered us into for the month of February. Can you relate? And the best way in order to relate from my perspective is through friendship. And we've been talking about friendships for the last couple of moments. And friendship can be defined as a single soul dwelling in two bodies. Isn't that cool? That was Aristotle. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. And you know that the soul is the essence of our being. So the essence of who we are has now been captured in the lives of two bodies, but one singular perspective. It's called friendship. Man, I want you to go and get your Bibles and share with us today. I want to grab one passage of scripture, Proverbs 18:24, I believe it is. But before I get there, I just want to ramble a little bit and just talking about friends. And if you know anybody in America, you can invite them. Friends are the family you choose. Friends are the family you choose. As many seats as we may have in a sanctuary, as many seats as we may have in an auditorium, as many seats as we may have in a stadium, a coliseum, you have the option to choose a friend. A friend is the family that you choose. I know you say, well, I really don't choose my family, my mom and my dad, my grandmother, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-grand. They gave me family. And as a result of that, friends have been developed. Well, look at friend just like a family. It is a small knit group who share culturally the same customs, the same norms, the same belief system. You have made up the family. Jesse Scott said that. Helen Keller said this, walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. That's Helen Keller. Now, you know, she was blind, but yet she's saying a friend is better to have in my state of darkness than to have a non-friend walking in broad daylight. A friend is someone who guides. A friend is someone who protects. A friend is someone who secures and makes you feel confident, even in moments where you may feel vulnerable and at a disadvantage. Friendship is always a sweet responsibility. It's never an opportunity. That's Keshia Brown who said that it's not about not knowing, but yet it is about knowing the unknown, because two friends come together, and as a result of shared likeness, you become a bond. You become unified. And even though you may be in Africa and someone else may be in the United States, that friendship is still kindled together. Excuse me. So what is it that we're looking for? What is it that we should expect? What is it that we should be cognizant of? What is it we should be cautious of when we're talking about friends and friendships? Where most people come into our lives and quickly leave. True friends leave a footprint in our hearts. Isn't that awesome? In other words, a friend does not just say something that you remember, but a friend does something that you will never forget. They find a place in your heart. And you cannot function without the essence and the solidified beating of your heart. That's what true friends are. That's what a true friendship is all about. If all of my friends were to jump off a bridge, if all of my friends, America, was to jump off a bridge, I wouldn't jump with them. I'd be at the bottom to catch them all. So that means that if all of my friends had to jump off of the bridge because they are my friends, I would jump first. And I would be at the bottom to help soften their fall, to help solidify their jump, to help assure that their landing would be satisfactory. That's what good friends are, and that's what a good friendship is all about. Once again, Aristotle said, and I quote, "A friend to all is a friend to none." That's why you can't have, America, friends everywhere, because too many friends lessen the potential of your capacity. Now, Jesus was smooth about it. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. Jesus says, you are my friends. I no longer call you this and that, but you are now part of the family. And anybody that's in my hand, no one can pluck them out. Oh, but God has big hands. You and I cannot hold or encompass that many friends in our hands, metaphorically speaking. But we can solidify the reach of our grasp. And I want you to decree and declare today that you can't have too many friends, because the more friends you have, the less friends you really are. I want to jump to something that Ralph Waldo Emerson once stated, and then I'm going to transition. He says the only way to have a friend is to be one. Did you get that, America? The only way to have a friend is to be one. And that's very precise, man. That's very kosher, because you got to be friendly in order to have friends. That's what the proverbial writer says. Solomon says you got to be friendly in order to have friends. So people who say that they don't have friends, in most cases, aren't friendly. And again, I'm not talking about being friends to America, because there's different cultures, there's different norms, there's different beliefs. Man, we could stay on the same street and not think the same way. We could be in the same car and really not have the intention to go in the same direction. But we have to choose, because the car can only go one place, one direction at one time. But a friendship is a joint effort. A friendship is a consolidated agreement. It's an opportunity for you and that friend, or you and those friends, to agree that this is where you want to go. So I want to conclude by once again sharing this passage of scripture, Proverbs 18:24. Listen to what the proverbial writer says. A man who has friends must himself be friendly. A man who has friends must himself be friendly. Now, I'm not talking about liking lottie-dottie and everybody, but I am talking about coming in agreement with a cluster of like-minded participants or shared people who believe in similar philosophies. And as a result of this joint effort, you guys have decided that your family, that your team, that you are a unit. So can I leave a couple of things for you that I believe friends and friendships must have in order to stabilize, to sustain, to endure the many twists and turns that may come in life. You know, there's a saying, decisions. And what that simply implies is that what you are about to do has a plethora of options. But in order for you to make this thing authentic, you got to choose. So you can't get caught up in the options that we plunder the opportunity. We got to choose. I think it was Joshua who told his family when confronting the severity of who and whose God they were going to choose. Joshua says, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Meaning that there's other lords that you can serve. There's other gods that you can go after. Some are monotheistic and some are polytheistic. But as for me and my house, we're going to have one God. Well, that one is a Unitarian effort to say that I can't be friends with everybody, but I can be friends with as many people in America who desire to share in the same philosophy. Man, Jesus was saying often, he says, man, if you want to be my disciples, you got to act like me. You got to follow me. You got to do what I say. And if you don't, you are not my friends. So a friend would never have you doing something that you don't want to do. But friends are unified in effort. They're unified in energy. They're unified in enthusiasm. And they're unified in empowerment. Friends know exactly what is best for the group. So a few things that I need to share with you, and we're going to be quickly transitioning. I think it's very important for you and I to understand that true friends are aligned, they are allegiant, they are accessible, and they are approachable. True friends, they are aligned, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, winter, spring, summer, fall, January, February, March. Do you see the procedural sequence? There is an order. And 2 can't get mad at 1. And 4 can't get mad at 2. And June can't get mad at January. And winter can't get mad at spring, because they understand the uniqueness of the friendship, but they also understand the quality of them being independent, yet knowing how to be interdependent. Friends and friendships is about alignment, but also about allegiance. In other words, if it's a sequence, if it's an order, no matter how large of a number I have become, 10 is greater than 1, but 1 comes before 10. So I cannot get out of the order simply because I think that I am larger. Indeed, you may be a larger number, but the totality of the number is not the essence of the value. It's the sequence and the prioritizing. 1 comes before 10. A comes before Z. It's about being aligned. It's about being allegiant. I just thought about this, America. These are all A's. It's about being accessible. Meaning, can I get to you when I need to get to you? I mean, are you going to put me on, metaphorically speaking, call waiting while you finish a conversation with what you have prioritized as more important than me? Are you accessible? But also, can I add another A? Are you approachable? I see you, but do I have access to get near to you? I know we're in the same room, but can we unify in time and in space? I want to decree and declare that good friends and genuine friendships are aligned. They are allegiant. They are accessible, but they're also approachable. You remember I said the term decisions? Well, I want to also conclude by reminding you that decisions means options, and options are many, but the choice is difficult. I can't go north and south at the same time other than intersecting interstates that change. I've got to make up my mind. Either I'm going to the colder part of the country or the warmer part. I may like both, but I can't do both at the same time. And that's what friend and friendships are all about. It's about being able to make a significant choice, a choice that is aligned, a choice that is allegiant, a choice that is accessible, a choice that is approachable. Man, my time is almost come and gone, but I need you to grab at least a couple more things and we'll call it a day. But according to the text, don't miss this, a man who has friends, a man who has friends. I see three things and we'll be done. And the first thing is, I have decided to decide. A man who has friends. I've made a decision. I've made a decision that I'm going to separate America into two different categories, friends and non-friends. I've made that decision. Now I can go back now and look at the part of America that I'm going to utilize as friends or friendships and process of elimination. I'm no longer going to include the non-friend or non-friendship participants. I've decided to decide. A man must show himself to be friendly. I think it's very important in America for you and I to understand that I have to decide to decide. You've got to decide to decide. But then secondly, my decision is a decision. Again, process of elimination. If you go north and I'm going south, and I'm no longer going north, but I'm going south, then I've made a decision that whatever is going north is not going to be a part of my decision-making process. I'm going with the Southerners. Can you and I grasp the reality? Can we put our hands around the genuineness of making a definitive decision about friends? Can you relate? Can you see that you can't like everybody, but you can't love them? You can agree to disagree. You can settle that your opinion, although genuine, is yours, but I don't share the same appreciation. Nothing against you. It's just that our opinions are different. Man, the same way it is with friends and friendships. You can't, America, love everybody, but you can make an attempt to choose and decide. You may be able to love, but you won't be able to like. America, I'm telling you, we have to decide to decide. We have to understand that our decisions are decisions. But this is the final one. I think this is the most important of all that I've said today. Decisive decisions are divine. Decisive decisions are divine. You've got to choose today whom you're going to be with. Just like Joshua. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. You can't be cold and hot. You got to decide what is going to be your preference. Jesus says in the Revelation, I would rather you would be cold or rather you be hot, but I can't handle you trying to be lukewarm. I can't have you talking out both sides of your neck. I need you to be decisive in your decision-making mode. And I need you to decree and declare that today I understand that if I want friends, I gotta be friendly. And I got to understand that my decision is a decision. And when I decide, I also decide against. I don't have to say I don't like that. No, your actions speak louder than your words. I don't have to say that I don't want to go north. No, I just walk south. I don't have to say that I don't want to go south. I just walk north. I don't have to say I want to go east. I just go west, or vice versa. The point is that if you and I, America, are going to be the type of disciples that Jesus Christ is looking for in this last day and time, we got to be decisive. We got to really ponder pensively. What is my decision? I decree and declare that if you, like me, can decide today that my friends are going to help me to be friendly, then I've already eliminated 50% of the problem, because friendliness starts the fellowship. I think the proverbial writer was onto something when he simply says, and I repeat, a man who has friends must himself be friendly. And can I say this for free? You will be of no greater friend to someone else than being a friend to yourself. You got to like yourself. You really got to like being with yourself. Because if you can enjoy and appreciate the quality time that you have with you, you're going to bring that same enthusiasm into any fellowship, into any friendship, into any moment that you might encounter. I believe America, the problem with America is that many of us don't like ourselves. But the proverbial writer helps us. And I read it one more time. I need you to grasp this. He says, a man who has friends. So in other words, if you don't have friends, the problem is you are not being friendly. Again, America, you can't be with lottie-dottie and everybody. But there is a cluster. There is a culture. There is a community that you can call friends. I don't know about you, but I agree with the guy who says that if my friends had to jump off the bridge, I'm going to not jump with them, but I'm going to jump before them, because I want to assure that their end is satisfied with my protection. Man, on behalf of Pastor LJay and Dr. Keshia Brown, just a little word on Wednesday. Can you relate? It's about understanding and valuing the essence of not trying to bring everybody into your circle, everybody into your community, but yet establishing a culture of people who are aligned, of people who are allegiant, people who are accessible, people who are approachable. I'm telling you, when that comes together, you can shake hands, decreeing and declaring that your best days are in front of you. America, on behalf of Pastor LJay and Dr. Keshia, man, we would love for you to become a part of this amazing fellowship. You can become a part of this fellowship through salvation, rededication, baptism. You can even volunteer. We would love to have you worship with us at 215 Las Gaviotas Blvd, Chesapeake, Virginia. But wherever you might be, online, in your places of convalescence, you could even be in the hospital. You could be traveling on the road, going in the opposite direction. And you click on social media, and you're right there with us. You can make that decision today. And just like Jesus says, you are my friends when you do what I tell you to do. That's what Jesus said. America, I didn't say that. Until next time, man, peace, power, prosperity is our prayer. What a friend we have in Jesus. We'll see you next time.